He's FaceTiming right now? I know, right?
Say what? Yeah, he's going driving, okay. What? All right, take care of business. All right, good to see you, Dion.
That's cool.
He's cruising around in Hawaii, right? Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, look. Yeah.
We can thank everybody for coming out and keeping this surprise as much as possible. You'll hear about that a little bit later. I'm gonna have, this is my Uncle Bubby. Well, let me start with this. There's a couple of things you might need to know, just so in case you hear some different names from my dad. He's got several nicknames, several. So some of you in the back there may know him by just Zach or ZD or Z. Well, this table and this table know him as
Snook.
Little brother, Z and ZD. If you didn't know, his name, his government name, is ZD. Z and a D. That's it. They don't stand for anything.
That's true.
So the historian and these guys can elaborate on it, is that somebody, I don't know who, felt sorry for him. Because everyone always asks him, what does the Z stand for? What does the D stand for? Well, it doesn't stand for anything. And everybody is insistent that it must stand for something. So therefore, they gave him the name Zach.
Yeah.
And then the D for Dwayne.
Right.
But that's not his name. CD is it. Did I miss any nicknames?
No.
So over on this table here is my dad's side of the family, the Cunninghams, Whites, and Wards. This side of the table is my mom's side of the family. They're the Blues. So these, for me, these are their nieces and nephews, actually. And then our honorary cousin over here is my friend from Las Vegas, Audrey,
Right.
who
Hey,
helped
Audrey.
us come up with a scheme to get him up here today. So as I stated in the update, he thought we were coming to have dinner with her before she went back to Vegas.
I had no idea this was that.
So with that said, before we get ready to have dinner, and so we'll have a salad, and then you'll have your meal served to you after that. Then after that, we'll have the cake. Have some cake, and we'll tell in between all of this, we're gonna have the siblings come up, give you guys some funny stories, do a little roast, if you will. Any of the nieces and nephews that also would like to come up and say anything funny, not so funny, serious, whatever it is that you feel like you want to say, please come up and say something. And likewise too for the friends and family on the Marsh Avenue, if you all would please come up.
That's so cool.
As well as Bill and Mike and Cedric. Well, Cedric is kind of between tables. He's on March and he plays golf with my dad as well. So, yeah, if you guys have anything that you would like to say in honor of my dad, to make us laugh, cry, whatever, please don't make us cry. We would greatly appreciate that. But before we begin to service, I asked my uncle, and they also can also share with you their nicknames because they all have them. And it probably wasn't until maybe for me, I don't know about these guys over here, but for me, it wasn't until high school probably that I started figuring out that what their real names were.
Well, the only one that didn't have a nickname was Larry.
Okay. We ran out of nicknames, if that's something. So anyway, this is my Uncle Bubby, AKA James. So he's going to lead us in a prayer before we eat. Reverend Bishop.
Reverend Bishop. Doctor. You might as well be a doctor. Shoot, I might as well take all that. Yeah, my brother's name is Snoop. That's what his name is. He's the original. Snoop Dogg came out, it was the original Snoop. That's who he was. The real gangster. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do the prayer because I could have some fun. Last time that I got a chance to do a prayer, Gina was doing it for my other brother, and Gina stopped me. She goes, you go too long, I'm not going to let you pray. So I'm going to get the prayer in today and talk now. Just bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for Jesus. Lord, I just thank you, Lord, for this gathering today. I thank you for every last person that made it here, Lord. Lord, I ask you to bless each and every one that made it today, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for my brother and my family. Lord, turning 80 years old, Lord, is just special. And Lord, I just thank you for him, Lord, and all the things I remember he did, and his wife, Lord. Lord, I just want to turn this over to you, and I ask you to bless it. I ask it in the name of Jesus Christ. Thank God. Amen.
Amen.
Anyway, Snoop, I gotta tell y'all about Snoop. She was telling y'all earlier, she didn't even know my name until high school. So Snoop was born in what,
44.
Before the beginning of the time?
Yeah.
Okay. 1944. My other brother, Eugene, he was born way before anything else happened in the world. They don't even count how old. What, 1938 or something like that?
1938.
Oh, 1938. That's an old guy, right there. For real. But Snoop, he was a wonderful brother to me coming up. I know one of the things he remembered. I used to play football, but when I was in high school, I always got a job. One of the things I remember the most, when I was working at Grove IGA. And I was having a hard time with the manager, and he was just giving me the blues. And so I came and told my brother about it. So he went over to take care of it for me. You know, needless to say, it kind of turned out a mess, but you know what a brother. You know, they'll go over and take up for you and take care of things for you. That's one of the big things I remember. Oh, with nobody else, what could a 15-year-old tell anybody but your brother? So he could go over there and straighten the manager out. What could I do about it? Nothing, right? So I just think it was really great for him and Barbara. And he's been married to Barbara since the beginning of time. No, second. My brother Eugene been married for what, 60 years? Or close to 70 years.
2 years.
62 years, way before anybody even got married. You know, before I got married.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, then my brother Snoop and Barbara got married 2 days later. Okay. So they've been married forever too. So I'm gonna turn this back. I'm gonna have fun. It's been fun. Kim, I thank you so much for putting this together. I'm gonna just give it back to you.
That's good. That's good. Well, just to let you know, we're going to begin our Pass the Mic session. I've been drafted as the youngest siblings representative to begin the process here, and I guess I'm going to come around and let y'all grab the mic and tell a little story or whatever. But I'll start here. My name is Dante Davis. My mother, the late great Vicki Davis, Vicki Lynn, and the youngest sibling in the family, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think she might be the bossiest one, though.
Yeah.
So my experience with Uncle Snoopy, the earliest one I can remember was being young enough to be terribly afraid of Uncle Snoop. So Uncle Snoop used to have those little tobacco pipes, and
He used to
Pipe,
pipe.
smoke pipe.
He smoked a pipe.
yeah, and so we would go over and they're like, go say hi to your Uncle Snoop. You'd be sitting in one of those little the little chair, right? And I see a little smoke going. And you know I was asthmatic, so my family had me terrified of smoke. I'm gonna die if I go down there. And so I would kind of tiptoe over, like, well, I don't know if I go and talk to him, will he growl at me? I hear you talking just because of your accent and the way you said stuff. I would just cringe every time you say words. And I finally got over to you, and I don't know what happened, but the family had me feel, anybody who called me Donnie, my nickname in the family was Donnie. My real name is Dante. Any other person who's calling me Donnie, you know, catch a knuckle sandwich. But the family, you know their family when they're like, hey Donnie, how you doing? And so I went over there, and I think I peeked around the chair, and he said, hey Donnie, how you doing? And I said, oh, it's safe, okay. And all I was thinking is, well, I'm over here and I'm gonna sit with him, but I hope I don't die because he has that smoke. But I'm so grateful for you, Uncle. You know, you've always been a good. I call him a voice of reason. You know, when I'm having sibling issues with my little sister or my family or my little part of the family, I always call him Snoop, and he always just kind of lay it out plain. And I just appreciate all your advice. And I just want to say, in brief, the one thing I love being here today and being a part of this amazing celebration of 80 years is this is what my mother was so adamant about all the time, is make sure the family knows each other, make sure the family is together. For those of y'all who are on the block, who live on the block and the neighbors and stuff, we were just so much, my mother was such an advocate for the village. It takes a village to raise a person. And so I came up in that environment where every time I walked outside and did anything wrong, I'd get in trouble by everybody because my mama had talked to, I felt like my mama had talked to the whole town. So I found out that mentality is just something that's, been encouraged and been pushed through the family for years. And just to see everybody together, the celebration of you, it just means a big deal. I love seeing everybody here, all my uncles and aunties and my cousins. I'm so glad I'm no longer the youngest cousin, because I was bullied by every one of the older cousins. And so I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be here celebrating you. We love you, and look to be celebrating many more in the future. So that's that for me. Who is next up? I can pick you, or you can raise your hand. Gina. So as we walk over to the eldest cousin on this side, she's the biggest bully, the bossiest of bossiest, but beautiful, intelligent, articulate, and my amazing big cousin Gina.
I'm not bossy. Even though I made the whole crowd be quiet.
I Googled bossy and her picture came up.
So my Uncle Stu has been in my life all my life. I'll be 60 years old this year. And he's been there. He's Snoop. My biggest memory, most memorable, was me. So his son Dale and I are the same age. I'm the oldest and Dale is right behind me. Me and Dale, we would come to my grandmother's house in Wichita every summer. All of the cousins would. And me and Dale were the two that we were double trouble because we were the oldest two. There was one party, because my grandmother would just let us run the rampant, right? That's why we loved coming to Wichita. Because we knew we were going to grandma's house and she just let us run. She would just say, y'all need to be back in here by the time the lights come on, take a shower, and then she would not a shower, baths at that time. Yep. And Dale and I decided, we convinced my grandmother to let us go to this party. I don't know how, Uncle Sue, I don't know how you knew we were at this party. How did you know? So you were the snitch. Snitches and stitches. I never knew until today.
It wasn't Mario's fault, because I threatened him.
Yeah. I contest too, baby, because I was scared of him too.
Anyway, so now I find out Mario snitched. And that's how me and Dale, so Uncle Snoop appeared at this party. So Dale was over there grooving with this girl, right? Because that was back in the day. And I was grooving with this guy. My name is Gina. I'm a Capricorn. One of those. And suddenly, behind me, I get this. Party's over. Where's Dale? Let's go. The guy behind me, the guy I was, jamming with, was like, and Uncle Snoop had that look like, let's go. And I'm sitting like, Uncle Snoop, and he had that look like, where's Dale? Dale over there with his pimp daddy hat. He over there jamming with the girl, right? He jamming, he go over there, boom, let's go. Most embarrassing moment of my life. I will never forget it, but that was an impact that Dante said Uncle Snoop took care of business because he knew we were somewhere we wasn't supposed to be. And he knew because Mario snitched.
Baby talk.
But you know what, Uncle Snoop? It's a blessing to have you here. It really is. You have been in my life. You've been Uncle Snoop. You've always been there. I can't remember a time you weren't there. And I am blessed to be here to celebrate your 80th birthday. I really am. So happy birthday. Okay, so who's next? Mario, you got something to say? I'm passing the mic to you, just because. Because I know you got other stories to tell.
Yeah, I got a lot of stories to tell, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have one. And when Gina got up and started talking, I was like, whoa, Gina? Came back to me. It's been so long. But I contest to that too. I was always, man, Uncle Snoop, ZD, Zach, all of them. Not until I grew up, I was like, and Bubby, when I recognized Larry right away. Grew up with Bubby, I was like, yeah. So it just came back. It's been a long time. So I was always scared of Uncle ZD. Man, he just give you that look and just put you in line. Just make you. I was always out of line, but like my grandfather, I was about the only grandkid to get whooped by my grandfather. But I forgot about that tattletale story. But yeah, Uncle Z has always been. He's always, like I said, they've been married. I mean, like, you'll see one, you can see the other. I mean, they've been married all my life. So I was like, so I have stories I can't tell. I have stories I will tell. But yeah, Uncle Z was always so later on in life. But my best memories, like my boy was on the phone when he was like 7 or so. Uncle Z invited himself to the golf course with Tom Watson. That was one of the coolest things that we got to play golf and teach him how to golf, his youth golf, and got into the game. I know Kim is well involved in the game. And you know, we you know, that's one thing we like. I like that I will always do, and I know he loves it. And we got me involved in it. And we play, and have a real good time, and it's crazy because we had a golf tournament in Wichita, and this guy that I was playing with, he was my partner, and he's like, yeah, I'm from Kansas City. I'm like, so really? Yeah, I said, yeah, my uncle's up in Kansas City. And matter of fact, I'm playing with the balls that he gave me. So I'm still playing with them. I got a ton of Callaway balls that he provided to me. And yeah, and I can't remember his name, but he knew. He said he played with you and Kim in Las Vegas. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he said he played with you. He's from Kansas City, but he played with you guys in Vegas. Chris? Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, so I'm like, so he precedes himself, but he's always been, to me, he's always been someone I can look up to and try to emulate. So, for that, I really do appreciate that, and I wouldn't miss this for the world. I'm happy to be here. So, that's all I got. Love you.
And even as an adult, if I'm not working, we try to make it over every now and again. And we see Uncle Zeddy and Aunt Bobby out in the yard doing something. But it's always been nice to see them together because, you know, that's what family is. And just, that's all I can say without crying. Love you. Love you too.
See, that's how the blues are. They just hogging the mic. Somebody else want the mic.
I'll just go real quick. Uncle Zeddy, I learned something today. It's just ZD. You know how many different ways I've spelled your name? Putting the Zachary in there, whatnot. But I got to know Uncle Zeddy probably best after I got out of college, after they moved to Kansas City. And I think you guys were living on 55th Street?
Yeah, 55th.
55th Street. And on the Missouri side, I live on the Kansas side. Y'all hate that. But just, you know, having family and seeing Aunt Bobby and Uncle Zeddy, that was just a good thing. Because, you know, being away from home, not having anybody around, you know, it's good to be, you think it's good to be out on your own, but it's always good to have family around. And when I see Aunt Bobby, see Uncle Zeddy, that was always a good deal for me. And we joke a lot. And we play golf a little bit. But Uncle Zeddy's always game for stuff. And I always like that about him. And I just appreciate you. When I got the invitation and it said 80, I almost called Kim and said, "Are you right?" Because I just didn't know, you know. And we're over here arguing about a whole lot of stuff, you know, when this whole thing comes about. But we appreciate you, we love you, and keep doing what you do. Okay. The neighborhood.
There we go.
To Zach and Barbara and her daughter. Oh, to Zach and to Barbara and her daughter Kim. I've just had so much fun with them. necessarily Kim, but of course Barbara and Zach. I mean, we have gotten closer all these years together in Spring Creek subdivision. Hey guys, come on, Spring Creek. And we've been together for years, but here lately, in the past, I don't know how many years, but we have really gotten close. Me and Barbara would walk at night, and they're trying to play pickleball. So it's Zach, you should see him. He's not any good, guys, okay? He's got a lot of lessons to be taught playing pickleball. But that's a beginner for you. But not only that, I really enjoy when we get together, we have such a good time. And we really, and he claims himself that's pretty good with playing cards. Spades, bid whist, claimed. Bid whist and spades and all the different card games. So we had such a good time. The last time we was together, we were at my house, and it was in December, I believe. And of course, who were in Boston? Me and Chris raised your hand against Zach and my uncle. And Barbara played also. But we had such a good time, guys. And I just want to just let you guys know he is a fun guy. They're fun people, and I'm so glad to know them. Okay?
Good. Okay, I'll move to one of the siblings then. Somebody going next? Okay, I'm gonna take the mic to one of the siblings, and this is like for y'all who grew up, it's like Doug, and Goose, Uncle Eugene, Uncle Bullo.
Well, since I'm the oldest, and been around him the longest, stories to tell is, growing up, he was a nice kid. He changed his name. He liked CD, Boozlum. Zachary Dale, So I've seen a lot of names changes. And he was always a nice kid. He was always younger than I was. He was my little brother. At that time, my other brothers were still small. So him and I, we seen a lot of things, because he grew up and went through Leoviture, and then I went to the Navy, and I didn't come back until World War. But all while I was in the Navy, I would go into all these countries. I was in China. I was in Japan. I was in Korea. I was in Taiwan. You name it, I was in it. And I was always studying when I get some places where wasn't trying to run down the people that we were trying to catch. We were stopping in Yokohama. We were stopping Hong Kong, and I would stop and buy clothes. So I was just getting myself suited so I could look good when I come back. And so I'd mail them home and have them put away. I said, well, I'll be back in 3 years. Just make sure they're in the suitcases is good. And so finally I get this shirt out of San Francisco. And I said, I'm going home. I'm gonna be dressed up. And I go home and I said, oh, where's all the clothes? I said, yeah. So I went and looked at my closet. I saw some there. And some looked like they'd been worn a little bit. And I'm like, but I kept saying he was at that time he was dancing every Wednesday nights on Hi-Fi Hop. And they won all these clothes deals. He came out, best dancer, best dressed. And I'm like, damn, where are the clothes I sent home? That's what he was wearing. And I'm like, damn, no wonder you look so good. But I didn't let it pass. What did he think? It was just my brother. He was still my young brother. And I'm like, you did look good, but you got something kind of got wet on him. He said, well, I cleaned him up a little bit. I said, well, okay. But that's what I got, Rich, really fast when I got back after service. I said, "Did you appreciate me serving your country? Why you didn't use it for my clothes?" But that was quite a bit. So his favorite people that I remember was that he liked the most. I made a note for some notes wherever I had that was Richard. Where's my notes? Hang on.
You talking about Richard Martin?
Richard Martin was one of his favorite people that he liked. And the one we grew up with was Herbert Hughes. Remember Herbert Hughes?
Yeah.
We always went to Herbert Hughes. And of course, one of the best partners was his relative, Melvin Shaw. Melvin Shaw. And that was the person that probably Melvin wore some of my clothes too, because y'all are the same age. But our family is a big family. You probably remember Duckett. Marcellus Duckett were in the park when McKinley left. Well, that was our cousin. And to me, although Barry Sanders is our cousin too, Marcellus Duckett was really a better player. But he never got the opportunities that Barry got. But Marcellus has always been my favorite running back. And then of course, Bubby, James, he was a defensive back.
I was the best one.
Casey.
You were better than Barry Sanders?
He was good. He was good.
Where's your trophy?
I didn't go as far as Barry. I needed Barry there and his
That's a
dad.
different story.
I needed his daddy for manager.
That's a different story. But we have our family is pretty big. Like I said, it's three: the Glasses, the Duckets, and the Holloways. You remember some of the Holloways because they were there for many, many years. It's just like the Blues. The Blues were there for many, many years. Big family. So, but that's really all I have. Did I miss anything?
I think you got it all.
That was good.
Okay, thank you.
No, Charlie, you gonna say something?
Yeah, let Larry.
Let Larry say something. Then Charlie. You gonna hold it for us?
Say something, Larry.
I'm the youngest brother of the mom. And I just go all the way back, remember when ZD, Snook, and Eugene both had got new cars. You had a GTO, you had Le Mans.
Right.
Remember? Yours was silver and his was gold. And I always wondered, damn, when he'll let me drive this car. And me and Bob, we went over there and they always kind of catered to Bob. He always got to drive cars around. I was like, man, I'm just, lucky enough to drive a car. And Snoop was nice enough to let me test drive his car after he got it. It was a 67. That's about 67, wasn't it?
I think somewhere.
68. Because I think y'all got y'all's cars about the same time, didn't you? Kenny, both?
Well, he got his and I got mine right after. I got mine about 2 or 3 months after his.
Right, but those were nice cars, they were brand new, and I just thought it was a big privilege to be able to, have a little time. And your brother never thought enough of you to let you drive the car for a little while. It was real important, for a little while anyway. But that's about all the story I got.
Good story. All right. Good job. Yeah. Can I take it over? Yeah, you fine?
Mine got good story.
All right. You ready? You got it.
Well, it's, for one thing, it's hard for me for a while it was hard for me to imagine Snoop 80 years old. Because, and I say that because I went to his high school graduation. And at that time, I just considered myself, he was just a little brother to me. And I figured it was, I never knew the years between us until I found out that you were turning 80 and I made it 3. I said, that's only 3 years. And I thought I was like, I
I don't know. Just a little, not a little brother. And that was something that, that's really, I still talk about that because it's just hard for me to imagine that he had turned 80, still going strong, and you're looking good. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Okay, we're gonna move over to, is anybody over at the friend table? Want to go? All right, here we go.
I'd leave without you, Zach.
Bill, you better get that red off your shirt.
Oh dear. Well, I have a question for the room. How many people here are 80 or over? Would you put your hand up? 80? Well, I was surprised. You're not 80 yet. You can My name is Bill. I worked with Zach at Art of America for about 10 years until he fired me. It's interesting, on one side of the room, people were terrified of Zach.
Yes.
This lady over here in the orange dress thinks Zach's funny.
Yes.
I didn't know Zach was schizo. Now, when I went to work at Art, I went as a marshal. After one day on that job, I hated it. Anyway, I hated it. I wanted to stay at the golf course, but I needed a different job. One day I was wandering around looking for nothing to do, and Zach was kneeling next to a picker, taking it apart to replace some stuff. Now, pickers are big, awful machines with parts that weigh a lot. So he's struggling. This is about 10 years ago. And I walk up to him and I said, "You need some help?" And I knew as soon as I said that he was going to say, "Sure." I always need help. I should have turned around and walked away. He said, "Be careful. Parts are pretty greasy." I had on a nice pair of, was it beige slacks or something like that? And sure enough, right under my knees, on both pairs of pants, big grease. I never did wear those pants again, and I never did wear slacks again either. My trademark dress after that was a kilt. So after a while, Zach's helper picking quit. And I went in and talked to the general manager and I said, "Hey, I'd like to pick." He said, "Okay, that's fine. Why don't you go ahead and pick?" So there for a couple of years, it was Zach and I on the driving range picking together. At least we were trying to pick. He was picking, I was trying to avoid him. Then one day he said, "Bill, we got to clean the range on Wednesday mornings. Can you come in and help?" I said, "What time do you get here?" He said, 6:30. I said, "I can't make it that early." "That's okay. Show up at 8. So I did. And I said, "What do you want me to do?" He said, "Well, we need somebody to take balls and wash them." "Okay, I can do that." 10,000 balls later, I said, I'm tired, I'm going home. And that was kind of my picking career until Zach decided that he needed me for something else. So he called me aside one day and he said, "Bill, you and I need to have a talk." This is when Zach became terrible. He said, I want you to work on filling carts with gas. I said, what are you doing, firing me? From that job, from the picking job to the other? Well, you can't handle the picking job, Bill. We gotta find something else for you to do. And filling up carts with gas sounds like the best thing. You're firing me. So that was the third job I had at Hart during that 10-year period. Well, you know what? He didn't fire me from filling up the gas carts because two guys decided that it would be better to fill them up a day before or 2 days before, and that would leave me and my helper free to do something else. Now, I think Zach put him up to that because he really didn't want me to say, oh, you're firing me again. So he says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take care of the carts outside the clubhouse so that they're always available for people when they get there. Now, at this point, I'm about 79 years old. I'm having trouble walking. And after a few weeks, he calls me inside. He says, Bill, we need to talk. I knew what was coming. And I looked at him and I said, you're going to fire me. He said, yeah, you're fired. And that was for real. I want to say a couple things about this gathering. Zach has spent many times talking to me about his family, going to Wichita, going to Dallas, I think it is, Dallas-Fort Worth, playing golf down there. I had no idea how big his family really was or how close it really is. I feel very honored to be here to watch the interaction among brothers and sisters and friends, family, to be considered part of that family, I guess. And I just want to say, this is really a wonderful experience, and I am glad to have experienced it myself. To Zach, what can I say? You're fired. Happy birthday. And maybe I'll still be around when you get to 90.
I also wanted to bring up my cousin down there on that blue table, Douglas, aka Junior, is what we call him. He is, for some of you that may not know, he is our family Uber driver for my parents. So anytime my parents come to visit to me in Vegas or we go on vacation, he's the one that making sure that they get to and from the airport, that I get to text and say, hey, can you please make sure you pick my parents up?
You need to work on your time.
Yeah, this last one was what, 9 o'clock?
No, the last time was 2 a.m.
I cannot control it, there's delays. I have no control over that. Well, the issue is that they don't like getting up at 6 o'clock a.m. flights. So, in trying to keep them with direct flights, my choices are limited. But anyway, we digress. Also, my cousin over there, Mr. Mario. I remember that story very well. And we're the one, Christy and I are the ones that filled her in on who the snitch was. Because Christy and I were waiting and listening to these stories that always came back when they got in trouble. So,
Well, you know a lot of them. Hey, not to steal your thunder, but I got a couple of arguments with my car and there. the CD and Dale was riding around the top. We blew that engine up there. Did I need it? I don't need it. That's all I really wanted to say.
It's all good. Story time.
And on this other car story was that red Caviar Chevette, says Caviar, that rear engine little shit. No, what is it? Corvette.
The Corvette.
That Corvette. Yeah, he's rolling down the road, that engine fell out the back.
Wow.
Yeah, that was funny, boy. Yeah, we come a long way. Take him out. Yeah, we got a lot of stories. I tell you, man, I love you.
Okay, I'm just gonna give the floor to whomever wants to tell a good story. Any of the other siblings, aunties, uncles? We all good? Hey, Barbara, you wanna give some? We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. Whatever you want to say. Yeah. Yeah, give us some history. Give us some history, Annie. You got this.
I don't have any good stories. Think of something good and clean I can tell. I'm thinking. That's or kiss. Wait a minute now. Well, we have two different versions of how we met. I think he picked me up while I was walking back and forth to school. He thinks he picked me up while he's talking to my sister at the library.
Oh.
I'm trying to get my education.
And the story on that is, I always call him Z. Well, my sister was a librarian and she worked at the university, and over there he was known as Zach. So one day she came home, because she's older than me, and she kept telling me, this Zach, oh, this Zach. And I'm thinking, Zach, Z, Zach, Z. I said, okay. She said, he likes to skate. Ooh, he skates real good. I'm thinking, okay, my Z skate too. Okay. I said, sis, we're going to the skating place together. You stay on the left, I stay on the right, but let's see what happened. Zoom, zoom. This dude did this all night long. I said, I'm gonna catch him to let him know what he's doing. We go outside, and he thought he was slick. He's kind of walking with his sister to the car and doing talking. He got 2 for 1. He said, I didn't know y'all were related. The 3 of us thought that was really funny. We laugh about it all the time. Well, I told it to my sister's husband. Wrong story. He didn't tell it was funny. And that, what was that? 25 years or 30 years ago? So, your Aunt Daisy. We're not having any stories on Aunt Daisy tonight. But all in all, we've been pretty tight. We hang tight. I tell everybody, I didn't know how to drive. My husband taught me how to drive. I mean, actually, basically he's taught me everything. Since I was 16, we've been together. So I don't know anything without him.
That's awesome.
That's it, babe. That was a pretty good one.
Good.
The other part of that story that she left off is
that apparently when, that I always say they've been together since about middle school. And so when they got married, again, story that I've been told, because I'm too young to really know any of this stuff, is that she had to get permission, someone had to sign for them to get married because she was underage. But I'll let my dad finish the story.
Well, I can honestly say, once I got to know her, I knew her brother, Howard. He's a year older than I am, younger Howard. And we went to East High together. And we went to the same parties. And he used to see me when I'm at these parties and things, similar to what they've been discussing. And he and I used to talk to some of the same girls. And he would come home and say, "Oh no, y'all can't be doing it." Anyway, to make a short story, we went through all of that, we did that, and he finally said, okay, everything is fine. And so we finally got together, and we've been together ever since that time. So back since 1964.
Well, your mother had to sign for you too, so don't
Yeah.
act like it's just
When
money.
we got married, I was 20 years old and she was 16. And we've been together ever since then.
Wow.
We've lived in, 4 different cities since then? She never wanted to leave Wichita. She liked New Orleans and I hated New Orleans. We both hated Alabama, so we got out of there quick. And we decided to come to Kansas City simply because my mother said we were on our way to California. And Kim had just got a scholarship to Emporia to play basketball. And Kim, you really wanted to go to California and go to school.
I wanted to stay in Oklahoma because you skipped the whole state of Oklahoma. Where I was raised in Oklahoma. So I actually wanted to go to University of Oklahoma. But y'all made me move to Kansas. Right. So that's how I ended up going to Emporia State University.
Good.
Carry on.
And then so we came to Kansas City. So we stayed in Kansas City. We've been in Kansas City ever since then. But I really wanted to go to California, but her mother talked us into coming to Kansas City so that we'd be close to Kim while he was in Emporia State going to school. So that's why we ended up here.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah. Very good. Good story.
One of the things we missed, my wife forgot to mention it. The reason that she was very close to ZD is he used to run the TGNY. And he had gotten 1 or 2 TGNY stores.
Yeah.
And she said, we were just young too. She said, we can get our best discount if we go to where Zach's at. So, so when you guys moved to Oklahoma, we said, oh, he's going to Oklahoma. Well, he didn't go to TGNY in Oklahoma.
No.
You go to another store.
Service merchandise.
Yeah. But that's what you buy. Well, she forgot, and I forgot to mention what I was talking about. But I'd forgotten to mention about TGNY. That was
Come to think of it.
Uh-oh.
It's all coming back now. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I'll tell you, my brother-in-law has enough, he could really go into business. Oh, y'all been there, oh.
There you go. There you go.
No, I was just asking if he still had a golf ball, because he was a golfer.
It's got about 50 gallons.
Yeah, and he had all of these golf balls. I said, you could really go into business having all of these golf balls. I mean, he has quite a collection, at least what I remember of it. And you still have them?
I should bring them home.
To us too. Give them to us.
Paris is going to get everybody in tune for a little song.
All
of
right.
Happy birthday.
All right. All right. Great. Great.
All right, y'all gotta sing with me, all right?
All right.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Steve.
Whichever name you wanna say.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Keep going.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy, whoever got that harmony, yes. Birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Go to the top. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
If you didn't know, cousin Paris here can sing, and she's the singer out of the family, so she always gets picked. One, because she's the youngest, so on this side, and she's probably the only one that can sing. You see? I know you got a ton. If you're wondering, you haven't caught on yet, BT is not really her name. But I'll let her explain that.
So I'm not sure, am I the oldest cousin?
On this side?
No, Shelley. Shelley, you were big, right?
Right.
You too.
So my stories are all from the beginning because Bobby used to babysit
They
for
don't
me.
know me by that.
Oh.
Really?
You missed that. So my mom got us a nickname too. Her name is Bobby. So the story that I heard as well is that she wanted to name me Bobby, but my dad, thank goodness, said no. That's how I ended up here. And I heard too that they also wanted to give me a nickname because everybody has a nickname as you can gather here. But mom said no. But dad gave me one anyway, and he always called me Kimbo growing up. So that was mine. But anyway, back to BC.
So I'm Bobby, and Uncle Zeddy usually lived close by to where we live. my mom was the oldest sister, and her and Bobby just were connected at the hip. So I remember stories, and I remember Uncle Zeddy probably from the beginning of my time, because Bobby used to always babysit with Sherry and Elaine. But they lived across the street for a while. They lived around the corner on Volusia. Before that, they lived in duplex across the street from Volusia. But my story is, I ran away, and my dear brother was so concerned when I ran away.
I snitched again.
He did. He went and told mom and dad that I ran away, and he followed me to the corner. But I all along knew where I was running. I was running over Bobby and Uncle Zeddy because they lived around the corner. But he was so concerned because I had run away. And I think even before I got there, Bobby already knew, and Uncle Zeddy knew that I was coming. But they've just always been there. They've always been there for us. And I think that's the biggest part. I remember Oklahoma. I remember you and Uncle Zeddy and Isaac and I going to Florida. We took a trip to Florida. That was my son's first visit to Disney World. And we rode no rides, but we got everybody's autograph of every character in that whole park. So it's always been a connection. Even when we went to Alabama, he went to space camp when they were living in Alabama. So it's just, there's always a connection. And I love you to the moon and back, always.
Very good.
Here, you know, and he would always say he would record something for me, so those were the times.
Oh no, these just spark memories, you know, I mean. I've only had one Corona. Tea and coffee, right? Now, what sparked that moment was, because when you said music, back in the day, we didn't have the internet, and Kay would write down the lyrics of "Lean on Me." I still remember like yesterday, and with the memory of the music and Aunt Bobby and Uncle Zeddy, they've always been together. It's like one or the other. So what my memory is every now and then flashback or whatever, you see those multiple lights, those lamps with the multiple lights, and I never forget the you guys had the red, the green, and the red, you know, multiple light in the house. Over there, evolution. But it was just really cool. Like I said, you know, the memories that I have of you two is like what I would aspire to be like when I get 80. Try to aspire to be like. Love you. Really, I think that, you know, that union, like you were 20 and 16, hearing all these things that, you know, that you didn't even know, it's just really cool, I think, and it just, it's a testament of something that is very unique, and I really appreciate it. That's all.
I'll tell a last story on Mario. So I remember we used to always take family trips with Mario, BC, and so our two families would always come together, and we were on our way to the Grand Canyon. And so we stopped, and that was before they had all the safety measures, you know. And it was Mario and Dale that were on the edge. And I think Dad told them, or Mom, I can't remember which one, get away from that edge before you fall in. But they wouldn't listen. And sure enough, what happened? Somebody slipped. I can't remember which one. Mario. And I think Dad went ballistic. Because we were almost without Mario to snitch on anybody else.
Wow.
And we've got a lot. Like I said, between both sides of the family, we've always, everyone's been very close. All the cousins, all these guys are my first cousins. And so we ourselves have our own share of stories and memories. This side of the cousins, like I said, we always came together during the summers, and that was one of the things that we, especially because some of us coming from Oklahoma, coming from Michigan, and then meeting up with the cousins in Wichita, and then you can see how Wichita was very, very small. Still kind of small now, but the family is kind of intertwined. And so with that, we've always maintained being able to have pretty close relationships, even for some that are a little bit older than what we were back then. I have not aged, so I don't I'm not speaking for myself. But I'm just very thankful for everyone who took the time out of their day to have flown in from Texas, from Michigan, from Vegas. Oh, speaking of Vegas, speaking of Las Vegas. So I don't know, some of you guys didn't know by now, but one of a friend of mine, Audrey over there to the right. Wave Audrey at the people. Audrey came in to celebrate my dad as well, because she's been, I don't know how long she's known my dad, but whenever they come to Vegas, Audrey golfs with us. Next time he comes, I've been told they're coming back in November. We'll be inducting him into our pickleball community.
We'll be in Vegas too.
Okay, come on. We play every night, so come on. So Audrey, I appreciate her coming, all the way from Vegas. We had to come up with an elaborate scheme to even get him here, and so I incorporated her into the madness. And so Audrey came in on Friday, and she was golfing over at Swope Park, and I said, "Oh, my dad works right around the corner from there." And so I said, "Well, come over." She's like, "Are you sure? Because he doesn't even know I'm here, and I don't want to give it away." I said, "Oh no, we'll come up with something, And so I told her, "Oh, Audrey's here for work," because she actually does work for a company that deals in casinos. So I said, "Oh, she's on a work trip, He's like, "Oh, okay." He didn't think anything about it. So I been trying to figure out how am I going to get him here without getting suspicious. And so I think it was, last night I called you. I said, all right, I got a plan. I said, make sure, I'm going to tell my dad that you want to take us out to go to dinner with us before you head back to Vegas. And so we're going to come to the casino, so after you get off work, he wouldn't think anything out of the ordinary that we're in a casino. We've just passed every restaurant known to man to get here. So on the drive out here, one of the things about all the siblings here, especially the males, they're very bossy and nosy. And so Dad has questions, because he's trying to understand, why are we going way out here? Why are you taking this route? He said, "Oh, so you're going to listen to the GPS?" So I'm like, "Well, yeah, I got it up here for a reason," because he wanted to go a different route. And I was like, "No." And so the whole time we're driving here, I'm acting like I've never been here before. And he said, "No, where are we going? And where's Audrey going? What's going on?" And so I'm texting Audrey. I said, "Audrey, if he asks you any questions about why we're passing the steakhouse and going up the escalators, just tell them there's another restaurant upstairs. So, I just say all that to say I appreciate Audrey for playing along with these games with us to help him get up here. I appreciate all the cousins and family that came from Texas, Arkansas, and drove in from Wichita as well. So I just really appreciate that, and then all of you guys on Marsh Avenue and over at Heart America as well that came in to celebrate my dad. Isn't it great to celebrate somebody while they're living?
Amen.
So. Yes. So the day I started texting everyone, sending the announcement, letting you guys know, say the date for the party, I think and I knew that Gina and Chrissy and all of them were in Texas at Uncle William's house. Within, I think, an hour, he calls my dad. So what's this about a party? So that then triggers my mom to call me on her cell phone. He's down there spilling the beans. I don't know what I can do. I'm in Vegas. And so, we got through that. We're like, oh, he must be confused. We don't know what's going on. We don't, who knows, Then later on, another brother, Mr. Larry over there, calls his brother. Hey Snoop, I'm coming to visit you in September, but I can't tell you why. So then I get calls again from my mom and text. Now Larry's telling it all. So these lovely gentlemen, youngsters, can't hold water.